Oh, hello. Welcome to Serious Star Trek. And now here's your host, Larry Young, Brigadier General Larry Young, and John E. Price, PhD.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, guys?
I love that door, that new door with the sound. That's awesome.
Oh, why, thank you. Stuff. I just want to take this moment I'm stepping out of the closet and coming out of the closet as a full-fledged hologram. You guys have probably noticed that I don't have feet, and it's been awkward in conversation around the show behind the scenes. But the truth is I'm a half Andorian, hologrammatic, third-class engineer.
I like that you seem to only exist in 2 dimensions as well. When you turn your head a little, you get,
It has advantages. It can be very
disconcerting, Dan.
It can be very
it's like the Tupac hologram, you know?
It's a little weird. It gets a little weird, I'll admit, but it could be fun on dates. So,
yikes.
I'm having a drain installed in the hologram, in the holodeck next week, and nozzles, maybe a little slop sink.
On that note, for everyone watching today, don't forget that you have an amazing opportunity before you. You can get one of these little bad boys if you write something funny. All you got to do is write something that we like, and you'll get one of these physical representations of my love.
You can choose. I mean, you can join Chris Sagasag. Rhett Casala has one. Tony's
got like 7.
I think we all sent him one.
That's it. No one else has won one.
All you got to do, there's 2 ways to win. All you got to do is make an insightful, witty comment that we all enjoy, or you super chat like 99 cents and you get one.
Super chat always works.
That's true. Dom and Diego from Lowell High School have one as well. I forgot those guys because they sent us like $7 one day to be jerks.
Every cent counts.
I don't know, man. When I was in high school, $7 was like 100 now. Like $7 was like a week's pay.
Dude, it won't buy you 2 comic books, Larry.
I still think $7 is a week's pay.
It's funny because it's true.
Don't mind my beloved dog in the background. He's just freaking out. There's a very not safe for work story I could tell about him, but he's had a heck of a week.
Dude, who's
working? I won't tell it.
I gotta hear that later. I can't wait until Gus is like Carrie Fisher's dog. Yeah. Where you die of old age and drugs or whatever she died of, and everybody keeps your memory alive because Gus has got a Twitter account.
Yeah, no, Gus should have a Twitter account. It'd be a lot of whining. Yeah. That's it. It would just
be whining. A lot of eating pillows, right?
Yeah, a lot of eating pillows. A lot of pissing me off because it pisses her off. You know, a lot of that. A lot of squeaking. Anyway, so this week on Star Trek.
You guys, I just kind of tell you, before I start freaking out about how much I hated Picard, I gotta tell you, I was in a bad mood. I was like anticipating the show. I was like, I can't. I just don't want to be that guy saying, "Oh, I'm so disappointed. This sucks." And then I start talking to you, and I got a smile. And we're talking about not safe for work doggy adventures. So now I'm kind of in a better mood. I didn't wear a costume or anything because I was mad about it. I'm like, I'm not even putting a pin on. Fuck you, Star Trek. And now I'm like, maybe I will be able to kick that football someday, Lucy. I don't know.
Maybe.
Well, why don't I'm in the middle of my March of Independence corporate media starvation diet. So maybe you guys can clue me in on what you're talking about here. So what's going on with Arden? I'll be your Huckleberry.
You know the old show, right, Dan?
Say that again?
I'm sorry. I'll shut up. Go ahead, John.
Well, I was just going to say, currently we have Star Trek Discovery is about to wrap up their season, I believe. I don't know how many episodes they're doing. And Star Trek Picard has just begun their season. So currently this week we have two Star Treks we can talk about. Actually, there are a lot of positives with Star Trek Picard. We're getting a lot of cool ship information out there. So we can talk about that if you want. The Trek Yard guys are doing a great job doing all the ship stuff. So the story sucks, but we can talk about the ships.
I was just going to say, let's bring Dan up to speed. You remember the old show, right?
Please.
And you're up to date on the mirror universe and all that crap, right?
Yeah, I'm a mirror universe fan, unlike some of you haters out there.
No, I love it. I think it should be used sparingly.
It's been beaten into the ground with a dead horse.
So was this a big reveal that Picard season 3 were in the mirror universe or mirror universe invasion? I got no clue.
They're doing the episode Mirror Universe. What is that? What it's actually called? I forget.
Mirror.
Yes, they're doing the episode Mirror, except it's not literally the same mirror universe, and it's Q doing it.
So,
it's almost verbatim at some parts. Like,
did you see the last episode of TNG, Dan? All Good Things.
Sure.
Okay, it's that. If you take the Mirror episode and All Good Things, and then throw a little tapestry in there where Picard and Q have a Christmas thing about what would happen if he had taken the wrong direction or whatever. But this is the source of my anger, though. And Price had a great line this morning that they owe 12 writers money for plagiarism because it's just like they took this episode and went put this episode here. And okay, you look like a genius, I guess, if you're 13 years old and you haven't seen Star Trek. But every Star Trek fan goes, what? Well,
and I'm just surprised.
I mean, are you saying that these are not nods? They're they just sort of Frankenstein the plot together?
They took this storytelling beat for beat and act for act and are just doing it with the names changed. Yeah. And it's kind of brazen how they're all clapping each other on the back and going, aren't we, just advancing the whole cause? It's like, no, it's just frustrating.
It's weird.
The thing I remember the most from Mirror, my favorite part about it was that our Captain Kirk was able to blend into the Mirror universe, but the Mirror universe Kirk was just a savage, just beast. He was instantly taken into the brig and put under control. And it was really Mr. Spock that was sort of almost no difference between them. So did we get to see an evil Jean-Luc?
Not yet.
Well, sort of. I mean, we saw the first episode of Picard this season is dealing with ignoring the ramifications of the first season. It's already
writing it all off.
That's putting my teeth on edge right there. But then the big reveal is Q shows up. And so this episode is all hey, what would have happened if this happened? Picard, haha. And so now they have to deal with the mirror universe. Now, I see how this is a good idea in the writer's room because everybody loves the mirror universe. And they never did a TNG mirror universe episode. So they can get all their yayas out, except for the fact that these modern guys can't escape it. So they did the whole first season of Discovery was mirror universe. What? They didn't even give anybody a chance to understand your characters before they gave you the evil versions. And I feel that's very similar to what's going on here, where it's okay,
we never did a TNG mirror universe, huh? I guess I never realized that.
No, because the TNG writers realize it's a stupid idea.
It's used sparingly, right? That's like an 8th season episode, right? Where you're really kind of bored.
This is all DS9's fault. DS9 did 5 mirror universe episodes. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I could have seen them doing it as a reveal, a pretty cool reveal could have been done in TNG if it was done right.
What TNG did was Yesterday's Enterprise. which is it's not in the mirror universe, the quote unquote mirror universe, but it is things progress differently, you know, time fractured, and now we have this reality. We have to set everything straight, right? That's what USS Fred is. Right?
I used to love that about TNG. There's this great line in the episode Disaster where, remember, it's Captain Picard Day. Of course, they beat that out of the ground. But there's this great line where they're like, O'Brien and Troy are going, well, is this a quantum string? No, it's a quantum filament. That's
completely different phenomenon. Completely different.
That's how I feel about the TNG not having a mirror universe one, but having yesterday's Enterprise. They're like, no, it's a completely different phenomenon. This is a different timeline. That's you're talking about a mirror universe. Like,
I always felt like they at TNG they were able to get away from all that stuff by using the holodeck for all those scenarios they wanted to do.
Yeah. TNG was better than all of this.
I just don't understand.
But so it's a lot like yesterday's Enterprise in the fact that it's not the mirror universe, but there has been some divergence in time, and Q has set, you know, our heroes off into this alternate reality, alternate timeline, whatever. And they have to fix the past to save the future, right? Whatever. But it is Captain Picard is like this warlord general. Like, he's like the most bloodthirsty man in the galaxy. There's some straight up Starship Troopers ripoffs where it's like the only good alien is a dead alien or some shit like that. Like, it's really fucking stupid. But I will say there's a couple positives. I do want to say my positives. Other than the ships, the main ship, no, the Stargazer's atrocious, but the other ships are cool. The characters feel better this year. Like, Elnor is not like this like little like perfect child anymore. He's actually like a moron, and he just says stupid stuff. He's like, "Oh, I'm here too, guys. Hey, how you doing?" You know, like, that's Elnor this year, which is a lot better. Raffi still sucks. She's never not going to suck. It's a stupid character.
Yeah,
you can't save Raffi. Like, I'm sorry.
She's a placeholder character, which I don't understand why they
it doesn't really make sense. She did call him JL this episode, which I almost
Before you get on to the next one, can I tell you my kid said Elnor is like Jay from Jay and Silent Bob, and now I can't not see it. I was just like,
I like it.
He just comes in and says something stupid and then keeps going.
Yeah. Anyway. I actually really like Girardi, Alison Pill. I really like Alison Pill as an actress, so I'm giving her a lot of benefit of the doubt. I like Rios. I like what they did with Rios. He's a cool guy captain. Again, they're getting rid of all of the season one. Like, they're hand waving away all of season one, which is the smartest thing they could do, because he's no longer tormented by his past. Like, blah blah blah. He's just a cool guy captain, which is exactly what they need. 7. I don't know if Jerry, what's her name, Kirsten Beyer. I don't know if she's still in the Raiders room, but it seems like they have a really good handle on 7 of 9. Frankly, I assume Jerry Ryan has a lot to do with that, because she understands 7 of 9. Like, you listen to her in interviews and stuff, and she really gets the character. And I'm forgetting someone else. There's some other character I'm forgetting. But
Sochi or whatever her idiot name is.
Oh, I don't care about that person.
So that's why you forgot her, though.
I don't. What? Yeah, that's why I forgot her, because she's not a real thing. So I do think the characters feel a lot better this year. I think the interactions feel better. Picard is... What can we say? What can we say about Android Picard? They're doing a good job of pretending like he's not an android. Let's put it that way. He even bled. He was bleeding last episode. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, he got socked in the nose. And I think it's funny, though. You're like, I don't know if you saw that, because they did the typical Star Trek thing of just like zoom in on his. Are you getting this? He's got blood in his nose. And I'm like, it's just cringy to watch this with them thinking it's TV. And
it's weird. It's weird.
It's really weird.
And like the episode ended at a weird spot, but we'll talk about that. But like, again, like it's really hard to judge it because it's not bad. It's infinitely better than season 1. But it's like watching a copy of a copy, right?
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
which I guess thematically that's what Picard is now. He's a copy of a copy.
I mean, that's all they all are, right? I mean, that's some level,
right,
but
they're all androids.
But you can work within that framework. That's what I hate is like the writing seems to just want to be like a pastiche. Remember what is, but subvert your expectations. Nothing was what you thought it was before. This is not your father's Star Trek or your grandpa's Star Trek. And it just seems to kind of like
stupid.
Doesn't work.
We all want our grandfather's Star Trek. That's what I never understood. Like,
yeah.
Anyway, I like John Delancey. I love John Delancey. I should rephrase that. I love John Delancey. I think he's doing a great job. I mean, he could just be Q forever. Just like stick a camera in front of John Delancey and just watch him just say like the alphabet, and I'd be like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm not a big like. I'm just a guy who watches stuff. I don't understand acting and what it's involved, but I will say every time he says something, I get riveted about how he says it.
Yeah,
you know, like all his line readings just make stuff seem cooler or whatever emotion that he's selling in the scene, right? It's just like, man, you have somebody go, I need a hamburger, and John Delancey would go, well, I need a hamburger. And it's fun to watch him.
I know I've seen him in a million things, but like besides, he is Q. But besides that, like, what did he do? Like, what's his biggest?
I couldn't tell you.
Besides that,
no idea. As far as I know, Q is the only thing he's ever done.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
No, I've seen him. I know I've seen him in this or that.
I'm sure he was in some USA Network lawyer show or something that we just never heard of, you know? He's obviously a working actor, and he's great, right?
Rios has the best first name in the series. What is it? Cristobal Rios?
Chris.
Stop being a jerk.
I just love everybody saying, you know, he's the Han Solo, and it's like, really? Because he's
that's a stupid thing to say.
Captain Kirk guy, which a fucking Star Trek show needs, you know? I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Chris going deep with his references.
I don't even, here's a guy.
I'll be right back.
How about that? I hope Dan doesn't serve synthol. That's awesome.
El Crudo. Welcome, El Crudo. Remember El Crudo, Larry? That's the guy who did the crazy Vietnam guerrilla comic we reviewed.
Yes, I absolutely do. That was amazing. I loved it. Yeah, comics, man.
Oh man, speaking of which, hey, next week, I thought I had 2 shows next week. I only have 1 show next week, but what a show it is. We're bringing Steve Bissett from Swamp Thing and Tyrant back. He's going to be we're just going to talk about monsters, like, because he draws books of like cryptozoological phenomenon and stuff. So that should be fun for people who are into sci-fi.
I saw that clip that from your Bill Willingham interview where he says, as far as he's concerned, elementals in the public domain. I'm like, ooh, that's a nice little hand grenade to throw in the room and slam the door and run away laughing while everybody blows apart.
Those little clips have been sparking controversy on the Facebooks, but they've led to a lot of subscribers coming into the channel too. So I hope if you're watching out there, by the way, let me plug this real quick. Subscribe to this thing, huh? If you like this show or you like the comic book show, do us a favor. Click on like on this video if you like it. Click on subscribe. Maybe click on that bell if you want to see more notifications and stuff. Hey, give us super chat if you want to get a super quad.
Oh man.
I'm pulling those. there's no stops. No, I'm pulling out all the stops. Whatever. I'm pulling no punches, but I am pulling out all the stops and mixing metaphors like a madman.
Love it.
For all 10 people watching this thing. I love. No, there's 7 people watching right now, and the number is growing.
I love somebody's complaining that Gus stole Price away. It's too bad that shows up as Facebook user, because I'm sure that we know
it's Tiffany, I believe.
Oh, Tiff. Hey, Tiff.
Tiffany, creator of the Quatlu.
Yeah, Tiffany's awesome.
Hey, I'm glad you brought that up here, John. I'm glad you brought up Facebook users. So you have to give them permission. It's kind of tricky if you're in Facebook and you want to see your name pop up here. You got to give them permission. But if you want to just make it easier, go to YouTube and watch this thing on YouTube, and then you can like and subscribe, and I get more analytics, and I make a little ching on my own.
And the more ching we get, the more effects we can have, like that. Verified.
A little much. I admit I gild the lily on my graphics sometimes. I just go, if you can do 100 Quatlus, why not do 1,000 Quatlus?
Why not?
I think that if one is good, 2 is better. So that makes 1,000. Like, I haven't done the math, but it's like
that's
600.
Funny enough, that's Akiva Goldsman's rating philosophy. If one is better.
What's the sorry, John? What was the Starship Troopers like? You said they're trying to do like a sort of xenophobia.
Yeah. So when they go to the evil universe, or the evil one, Picard's big speech. Well, so real Picard, or I should say Android Picard, is like, oh, what universe am I in? And he starts watching like historical records, right? And one of the ones is evil Picard's speech, and it's all about how like a good galaxy is a human galaxy, and everyone must do their part and all that. And it's ripped straight from Starship Troopers, the movie. I laughed a lot. It was good.
So I just finished. I finally finished reading that book. I love it. Thank you. There we go. Chris, you're eating up all the Quatlus with your comment. I want to do an episode of serious sci-fi with you guys, and we'll go deep on Starship Troopers, but talk about the book and compare it, because I was just blown away by how great it was and how different it was and how weirdly controversial the takes are on it. What I couldn't figure out was it pre or post. I guess I could easily look, but was it pre or post Star Trek, the original series?
Oh, it's very pre. It's like
I think it's 50s. The 40s, right? Yeah,
late
50s. Okay.
It's whatever. It's before Star Trek, that's for sure.
Yeah, okay. I thought maybe because he did some stuff into the 70s as well, like Stranger in a Strange Land and stuff like that. I thought he did later, and
so. This brings up my absolute hate for Michael Chabon.
Yes.
Because Star Trek was basically a riff on Forbidden Planet. Speaking of stealing things, right? You ever see Forbidden Planet? It's the same thing.
Great movie.
Yeah, yeah. So Star Trek, it's in Star Trek's bones to, look at something and then air it out. So that's fine. I don't begrudge anybody being, inspired by something and doing their own thing. But this Chabon guy, man, all of his Star Trek stuff is just based on earlier Star Trek. And it drives me bananas because this guy has a Pulitzer, right? And if you think about it, his Pulitzer is for just a retelling of the creators of Superman. So it's like he stole from that too. So that, I don't know. I'm sure the guy's very talented, but the stuff that I interact with, it comes right from something else, and it doesn't seem that impressive to me. Like,
it's not a coincidence either.
Yeah.
Like, I follow him on Instagram or whatever, and like he's always posting stuff about how, the best, like, and I'm paraphrasing on, this is not a direct quote, don't sue me, Michael Chabon. But it's always stuff like, like the best stories are the, stories retold or shit like that. It's like, it's not, he knows what he's doing. He's intentionally doing it.
Yeah, sure.
I get it. I understand it philosophically, but like it's incumbent upon a creative person to like, put a better shine on it than the thing that you found. You're like, I get that gives me a good idea. I'm going to riff on it. I understand 100%. But you can't just do what they're doing with Star Trek, which is, and it's not even lifting wholesale. They're just like reshooting old scripts. It's insane.
Right. And it's a really good, like, I've taken a bunch of creative writing classes through the years. Like, it's a very good writing workshop to take a story that you know and rewrite it yourself, right? Because you're obviously going to make it different in however many ways that you wouldn't even think of, right? Not when you're a professional Hollywood writer, though. Like, I'm talking like 10th grade creative writing class.
Yeah.
Like,
I wouldn't even care about that. It's the Pulitzer that sticks in my head.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
This guy got a Pulitzer? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
Well, I thought Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay was very well written. I mean, it did take historical stuff and rejigger it, but like that's a lot of the greatest books do that. So I have zero problem with that aspect of it.
But you know that story, right? So
we do as comics heads, and I think that's the thing. This is it. You just revealed it. Like if you're a comics guy. If you're a comics guy, then it's like you knew that story. So it was like, meh. That's how I felt about it when I read it personally.
The end of every story is, but he got a Pulitzer for that. Can you imagine the stuff that we all know? They're just like nerds know. And they're like, really? All I have to do is just like fictionalize this into a novel. I get a Pulitzer.
Well, I think it's more like he had the rep already as an author,
I know.
And had that literate crowd, and those guys they don't know those stories. So then those hoity-toity editors back then, they read that book and they're like, "This is holy crap! Who knew?" Or what a saga. And same thing with the Star Trek stuff, though. Like the in deep guys are like, "Oh, that is beat for beat episode 21 of season 3 of original series," and
yes,
but to Joe millennial, they don't know that, and it's all new stuff.
I'd just like to announce here on Serious Star Trek for the first time that, as we all know, the guy who did Spock's ears in the show is a makeup man named Fred Phillips, who also did the webs for Patrick Ewing, whatever his name is, Patrick Duffy in Man from Atlantis. So I'm announcing right now, I'm doing a novel called Fred Phillips, and it's going to be the adventures of him as a hitman in Los Angeles doing all these cool makeup things on TV shows that only we care about.
I smell
Pulitzer. Here I come.
I smell a Pulitzer for sure, Larry. It's in the can.
Anyway,
but no, you don't have what Michael Chabon has, which is the connections with that.
There it is.
I know.
There it is. Speaking of Kurtzman.
I think that's it too. I think that really is a part of it, because when you think about it, who a guy like Kurtzman's boss is.
Wasn't Kurtzman's dad like Spielberg's dentist or some shit like that? Like it's the craziest. Like his story is just nuts. I really dislike that guy.
I mean, ultimately, the guys that hire and fire and sign their paychecks don't know this stuff very well either. So you can create this Crib Notes version of it, and it's going to get on broadcast television.
Yeah.
Look at Saga giving me crap. Patrick Ewing as a Man from Atlantis. Sorry.
Okay.
That's such a deep cut, Larry. I don't even know.
I know. It's a crazy place in my brain. Yeah, Alex Kurtzman. Don't even get me started on that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
that guy sucks.
Does it? I mean,
really, he doesn't though. I mean, that's how he got the job. He's great for administration and show running. And
is he?
Well,
is he?
He's making some bad choices on Discovery. But no, I get it.
I mean, everyone look, and it's valid argument to some extent, because it does. He has 8 Star Trek shows in development at the same time. Like clearly, they're throwing money. They're giving him the money to throw around, right? So someone somewhere thinks this is a good idea.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
It doesn't matter to them if the shows are shit. Their strategy is quite literally throw it against the wall, see what sticks. If nothing sticks, throw it against the wall again.
Where I think the problem is in Star Trek, they've kept everything. It's never been a reboot for these shows. It's been like one big continuity mess. Yeah. So when you redo beats from old episodes and stuff, it's a steal. It's a ripoff. Like, whereas when J.J. Abrams did his Star Trek movie, you could do a pastiche of story beats and get away with it. You can't do it in a scenario where you're saying those things already happened in this continuity.
Right.
I think you're absolutely right. And I think that's where Shaban gets it wrong about stories being retold or is a viable thing. Like, it is if they're big epic stories, like what Abrams is trying to do with his things. It's like, okay, here's another event in another chapter in the Odyssey, right? But they're not doing. You get to do that with theatrical films, but episodic television is like a day in the life of the audience, right? So if like even us, so Fridays at noon on the internet, right? So what if we're in bad moods or we have to go somewhere or whatever? Then it doesn't happen, right? But TV does. So sometimes it's not humming on all cylinders, and so that's not a story worth retelling. You know what I mean? That's just something like, I kissed that fat girl at the Christmas party. I'm just not going to think about that anymore. You don't do it every year, right? I mean, I don't know.
What do you think they would have been? Weren't they talking about doing shows based on the Abrams sort of and technically too, Abrams technically is in the same continuity. It's just after like a time disruption or whatever they said happened, right? It is.
They
it
definitely,
is
it's
an alternate universe of the original.
Stupid.
I actually don't have the problem of Price has because we got the imprimatur of Leonard Nimoy, right? Like, I will swallow all that nonsense because real Spock told me that's what's going on.
Totally.
So God bless them. They tried, right? And I get if it doesn't work for you or not. Some stuff, I don't know. I love that.
I actually really like the J.J. Abrams universe. Surging into Darkness is atrocious, but like the universe. And again, I'm with you. Like, they set it up from the beginning. They're like, hey, this is a different universe,
right,
of Star Trek the franchise. Okay, let's do it over here. Okay, don't freak out, right? And like with Picard, like, they're not picking bad episodes to try to redo. They're picking good episodes, which almost makes it worse because it's like.
Yeah, they redo them
I would
poorly.
rather you redo the one with the Irish people. Like, don't redo. You know what I mean? Like, up the down ladder. Don't redo Yesterday's Enterprise, which is possibly the single best standalone episode in the entire franchise. Like, it's definitely a top 5.
Yeah,
like just 5. For a single episode, the amount of story that goes on, and the amount of just as one episode, just it's incredible what they got to. Anyway, like, don't redo that one.
Right.
Don't redo the one everyone likes. Right? And they're like, didn't you like Yesterday's Enterprise? Wasn't that funny? We made a reference to it. Just like the plot we're doing. It's like, no, I already saw Yesterday's Enterprise. You can't make Yesterday's Enterprise better, so don't. Right? And it's like with the Discovery stuff, like, they didn't make the Mirror Universe stuff better. They made it worse. And it's like, it's just, you're not going to redo. It's like Strange New Worlds. Don't put it at the same time as the original series. And I understand they have to by sheer fact that they chose to do Captain Pike on the Enterprise. But like, why? Why are you doing that? All you're doing is you're going to invite criticism. You're going to invite comparison. And you're going to invite people saying, you don't know what the hell you're doing. Unless you hit it out of the park every scene of every show, those criticisms aren't even criticisms at that point. It's just reality. It's like you're not doing it as good. Right? I don't understand. Yeah. Like procedurally, I don't understand why you would choose to make those decisions. Larry, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to throw in that, like, I'm with you 100% that if you're going to make business decisions like that, why in God's name are you not shooting on those sets 24 hours a day? Because you could just do a Star Trek Ron Tracy show and all of those criticisms you brought up just go away because nobody knows what Ron Tracy did until he died, right? So, or got taken away. So you do a whole show of what happens to, or just even the Exeter or the Yorktown or fucking anything, the Hood. right?
Or if they
want,
you know, the producers love their name recognition, right? They want the audience to have a tie-in. Like, okay, here's a tie-in for you. It's Kirk's granddaughter, Jamie Kirk, and it's now the year 2324, right? You're in the middle of the franchise. It's a completely unexplored area. Like, this is like don't set it 5 days before Kirk takes over the Enterprise right. And be like, oh, why don't the fans like, what's this criticism about? Like,
we're so narratively hamstrung. I don't understand.
And like Star Trek Online's over here trying to like pretend like, oh well, Tilly is actually blah blah blah. She's superior to Kirk. Like, no, she's fucking not. Like, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
I just don't understand, right? Because I look, I'm not saying I'm great. I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm anything, but I try to study structure. I try to study narratives. I try to study A to B to C why you chose the route you did, right? What the cultural connotations are, what the socioeconomic connotations are, right? Why you're making the decisions you're making, right? That's literally my entire academic background is looking at events as a story and looking at stories as decisions, right? So, what are the decisions here? The decisions here are stupid because what they're trying to do is weave in and out. They're trying to thread the needle with a fucking sledgehammer. And it's like, I understand. Look, this has literally nothing to do with who your characters are. This has nothing to do with who your actors are. This has nothing to do with whatever kind of message you're trying to put out. Star Trek was progressive from day one. You know, Gene Roddenberry loved short skirts. That doesn't mean the show wasn't progressive as fuck, right? I mean, watch those episodes, right? Yeah. We're talking about imperialism. We're talking about Vietnam. We're talking about social rights. We're talking about civil rights. We're talking about the march to independence, you know, personal liberation, right? These are not like conservative ideas, even in the 60s, okay? So don't fucking throw this shit back at me that, oh, old Star Trek fans, they just don't like black women. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, right? It's just not even worth talking about.
It's fucking stupid, right? So what are we actually criticizing here? We're criticizing lazy storytelling techniques, whether it's Discovery, whether it's Picard, even Lower Decks. I love Lower Decks, but that is basically reference the TV show, right? I love it. It works. They do it well. Yeah. It's funny. I think it's great. They chose the correct medium in order to do that, which is a children's cartoon, or not even a children's cartoon, but maybe a young adult cartoon, right? You can get away with it in that sort of medium. You can't get away with it in your $100 million per episode Star Trek Discovery, where they want every moment to be meaningful and every character to be a representative of some marginalized part of society. Like, you just can't have these things working together and wonder why people are criticizing, right?
Yeah,
have I lost my mind?
No, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. I think politically,
hit me, Dantron, hit me.
I think, well, where you're talking about what Star Trek represents politically, I think it represents it's like it's neoliberalism after World War II, and it's like these liberal values, but like backed with military might. And
sure.
This is where I really, not to take it back to Starship Troopers again, we got to talk about it. We got to have a whole episode where we talk about it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Read the book again, because I honestly couldn't tell whether it was a critique of our current military, or it was a lionization of like what it could and should be. Maybe it's both of those things, but anyway, I feel like Star Trek made the projection of U.S. power via military force. It's a metaphor for that, and made it seem okay in a way that I politically take issue with. So I've always seen it as sort of like the Federation as like a it's the future military. And if you really want to get what space will be dominated by the military was the vision, and it would be so much more what Heinlein showed and they get a little bit of that rigid disciplinarianism. A little.
I think they went so far out of their way to make Starfleet a paramilitary organization that it's run that way. So it was familiar to people who fought in Korea that were watching TV that night.
Yes.
But I really think that I say this all the time, that Star Trek is the future where Kennedy got 2 terms. It's so clearly the Camelot vision of Kennedy, and that's why it works, right? And I think that's what Starship Troopers was making fun of. The whole well, what's going to happen is when Eisenhower was talking about the military-industrial complex, that's really what's going to happen. So let's do that in science fiction, right? Anyway.
Maybe. Well, I mean, he had such a great affection for the military traditions and stuff in that book. And I feel like part of that is in Star Trek too. Like it's real chain of command and a very hierarchical structure. Maybe that's just that's how you got to run a ship, right? Is you got to have one head of the ship. I get those principles. But I just watched a great episode or a great clip from an episode. John's trying to reconnect right now.
I know.
Just watch a great clip where Data was acting captain, and Worf was acting first mate. And Data gives an order, and Worf kind of under his breath mutters as they're in front of the other crew, goes finally, and walks away. And then fucking Data pulls him into the office and just dresses him down. It's so great. He's just look, I don't remember Riker ever openly questioning Picard in front of the rest of the crew. So and was ready to lay down their friendship and everything for that rigid military protocol. And I get it. Maybe that's how things have got to be on a ship where lives are on the line. But it's far from this egalitarian, non-militaristic futures, I guess, was always been my point. And I think...
Yeah, but nobody says it was, right? Everybody says, oh, it's Star Trek Utopian. It's you're not watching the same show I am.
That's true.
It's not a utopia at all. It's the biggest human fuck-up of all time, but everybody's doing their best, right? They're not taking... They're all like Ed Harris in Apollo 13, right? It's failure is not an option. Oh, yeah, that's why we have the Prime Directive, because that one time we told everybody to, use their jump ropes as sex toys, and look how that turned out. But it's
a good day.
I don't know. I think it's so funny what a blank slate Star Trek is for something that seems so obvious to me. It's it allows all these interpretations, right?
Well, that's probably right. Yeah. That's the thing that makes things hook, I think, in pop culture is the ability to hook into so many different people. And I think that's what I'm saying. The zeitgeist, the American zeitgeist of that time in the 60s was post World War II, military. You got a neutral zone, and we got bad guys on the other side, and we got us on one side, and we're all going after limited resources and sort of fighting on this chessboard, but we're the good guys, right? We've got righteousness on our side. So this is where Wolf Warrior go back, to flip the script on it the way that it does, and it's really laid bare in the final conflict between the good guy. By the way, this is the highest grossing film in Chinese history, and the star is the writer and the director of it as well. So it's like an auteur, state-funded, auteur-driven action movie. And it's funny, and the dude's got a cool personality, but he's a badass. He's kind of a rogue, but he's a team player at the same time.
It sounds awesome. And you said Frank Grillo's in the second one, right?
I guess he's in the second sequel. Maybe he was in the first. I don't know my actors well enough to tell, because I watched the first one and haven't watched the haven't watched the second one yet.
I was trying. Ukraine saw it. He says it's solid. So there you go. That's like getting Spock saying satisfactory.
Steve, did you see the sequel, part 2, that's out right now?
Scott Adkins.
Okay. Scott Adkins, right? Who's I guess a B movie guy that's pretty well known, but I don't know.
That's not the guy from 30 Rock, or the bald-headed guy from 30 Rock, is it?
No, I think he's like an action guy.
I want to see him in an action movie now.
If only I had a miracle information portal at my fingertips where I could look up every single thing in the world.
I was just looking who it was.
Part 2 is 2017. Yeah, and that's the one with Grillo in it.
Yeah. So it's Scott Adsit I was thinking of in 30 Rock. So I had a little dyslexia there.
But dude, I saw clips. I guess the clips was from the second one, but similar to the first one, where at the end, the American guy's like just talking about like the genetic inferiority of the Chinese guys. He beats the crap out of him, and then the guy's like the Chinese, the star, flips the script, action movie style, and it's just like fuck you, not anymore, and like stabs him in the face.
That's awesome.
It's brutal.
Hey, do you see El Crudo was making me laugh about that jump rope?
I flashed that one. Yeah,
it's awesome. I'll say that's Quatlu worthy. I'll just throw that out there.
Oh, you hear that, El Crudo? All right, so El Crudo, send your address to Larry. Oh, I thought I had your email in here.
My email.
Larry at AIT Planet Lair.
There's a dash there between the T and the planet. Yeah, AIT dash.
AIT Planet dash Lair.
No. AIT dash.
Yeah, Planet Lair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry to make you do that again.
That's all right. No, I got it, and we'll save it. It's saved here forever.
There you go. That's me.
Send in El Crudo. Send your mailing address, and you too can get. What are you gonna get?
I'll send you this exact one. Serious.
I threw every Star Trek computer phone sound effect in the phone book at this stinger, guys. So
that's verified.
Verified.
I told you my kid will just say that at random times just to make me laugh. It's 100% based on you doing that.
Well, I'm trying to put together every single like talking computer sound effect from Star Trek I could find, and we can do a little. I'm putting together a little bit for us to do called Ask the Computer, and we can.
Oh my god, that's awesome!
Yes or no questions. So look for that in a future episode. John, are you back, buddy?
I can't tell. Nah.
You're there. You're not. Here's
my impression of John.
Well, let me do my impression. Wait a minute, I can do it. Here we go. I'll use special effects. Wait. Yeah.
There you go. Oh my god.
Freezing every once in a while. It's all right, John.
You know what? Now we gotta do a little skit of Dantron in the engine room. That was awesome. You can do stuff like that. I'm gonna send you a 3-page script, and you have.
Oh yes, Larry. Yes, I've been waiting for that.
All right, I just had the idea. He's been waiting.
Space anomalies. We could do space anomalies. We could do computers.
I just got information from somebody that rhymes with Dave Blukrin that says the big rumor of the day is Dune's going to get more than 3 movies.
Whoa.
That's pretty.
Oh, what happened? Wait, sorry. I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button.
So it was the opposite
of before. Can you see me right now?
Yeah, we got you down.
Okay. Before I go out again, I just want to say, Dantron, that was a really good point about neoliberalism 20 minutes ago. That's it. I just wanted to say that. Because that's how neoliberalism works, right? It's imperialism in the guise of humanitarianism, right?
Yes.
AKA the Democratic Party since
Canada. To me, that's what it is. Yeah.
And that makes perfect sense. It's coming out of the 60s, it's coming out of the Kennedy. Anyway, okay, we're good.
Yep, you basically caught up. You didn't miss anything.
Yep. I love the internet.
I was talking about jump ropes as sex toys there for a minute. So
I don't understand what the fucking internet's problem is. I've had we pay the exorbitant amounts of money for this goddamn miracle machine, and it doesn't work perfect.
I know, every moment of every day, huh?
Yeah. Mine does.
Scotty.
So just you guys need to move to San Francisco. That's all that means. You're
I think it's because our neighbors are back. Every time our neighbors go on vacation, the internet works fine. And then they come back from their little snow bunny routine, and the internet sucks. I think it's them.
Well, Larry, I'm coming down for a week in April.
Oh, are you? Oh, right on. Yeah.
Let's hang out. Conference. I'm bringing the family.
Oh, that's neat.
It should be fun.
Yeah, come. We'll hang out or meet in the park or something.
Yeah, I'll ping you out.
It's not like
definitely going to do something down in the park in your neck of the woods. So
Dan, I mean, it's not like we literally don't live a block from the beach, right?
It's perfect.
So yeah, your girls would love it. Anyway,
so who wins the Quatlu today?
El Crudo was. That's what I was setting up for you. That was the one thing you missed. There's still a chance. We have a limitless supply of Quatlus, so if somebody else could get one. But El Crudo was
just like the U.S. economy.
I made some dumb joke about the reason the Prime Directive exists is because the Federation went to a planet and somebody made a joke about using jump ropes as sex toys, and so that's why they have the rule. And then he goes, "You weren't there, Larry. Don't judge," which right there makes me laugh. And then he says, "I still have that jump rope." So I thought that was Quatlu.
All right.
Well, you can send 8 stickers, El Crudo, or whatever you want. By the way, I know you got new issues of your stuff coming out, so send it into the $1 Million mailbox at this address that you see.
Price, I know you don't dig on comics, but you would love El Crudo's monkey thing. I forget what it's called. Do you remember, Dan?
El Crudo.
Oh, okay. I thought that was his name. It's really funny. It's like, Sky Ape or any of the million monkey things but awesome. He's just got a machine gun.
That's awesome.
It's a little deeper deeper than that too, man. There's a lot of stuff involved with like deep trauma for El Crudo himself. Oh, El Crudo.
Oh, my name is Manny.
Don't ruin it.
I feel like we got a secret history.
The Manny behind
Wolverine's name. Anyway, nice job, Manny.
Okay, guys, did we cover all the things we hate this week or what, man?
My big thing was that Shaban stealing the story thing, and there was one thing I had to say about Discovery, and I don't know. I'm a big Star Trek fan, as you guys know. I've watched it my whole life, and I put on Discovery, and I just let it run in the background, and I didn't pay attention to it, and I didn't care. And every once in a while, something would happen, and like, oh, right, they still hate that guy. And then Tig Notaro would come on and be like, oh, Jet Reno scene. I'd watch that. But then I'd go back to like doing the dishes or whatever. And I had that realization about 20 minutes later that like, I just kind of like half-assed a Star Trek episode. And I can't believe that has happened or that it's taken this long, like one or the other, right? It's just like, I just really thought I was always going to be in and I keep track of it. And I don't care. I don't care about Discovery, and I feel bad about that. Anyway.
Well, so do you ever think about the fact that if you watch it and you don't like it, there's no way that like your message is being sent to them that you do like it because you're watching it, right? Like that's the feedback.
Yeah. I'm not a guy that worries about that. If I had a message to send, I would find out who the guy at Paramount who's responsible and write to him. Like I then they could ignore that, right? So so that they can't read my mind or they ignore something that I work on. I mean, either way, nobody's going to give a shit. So I don't really worry about that in the first place.
I mean, but that's what I mean is like, so like anybody, if they keep watching it and like if the Paramount streaming service is a success because people are signing up to watch it, then they go, Kirkman, you're a genius. Kurtzman, whatever.
I will say Paramount Plus is infinitely better than CBS All Access. It's not great, but it's a lot better. They came out on top by submitting to Paramount. It was a good choice.
Oh, God damn it.
That was a joke.
I forgot I got the wrong sound effects on. Here we go.
What does Steve mean by that? Streaming has replaced any avenue for fan discuss. You mean they're just going to make whatever they want, and you can just not bother with it? If you
well, maybe because they don't have the direct weekly ratings and just the lack of interest.
Oh, yeah.
It's the automatic feedback of the advertisers that is what does it. There's no advertising in the loop.
Yeah.
Huh.
But on the other hand, they do know exactly who watches what episodes, and if you stop watching it or don't complete series, they definitely know that stuff. So people
Netflix definitely knows,
and watch it in the background out of momentum. It's not, and you don't like it and you want it to change. It's tough because you're in that loop.
It's not that I want it to change. I want it to matter, and it's just the most generic thing ever. Like we were saying this in season 1. If this was called anything else, you'd just give up and watch something else.
Yeah, there's no.
And so, paid for with commercials. Season paid for.
Yeah. It's a sad state of affairs when neither one of us has any interest in watching a Star Trek series. Like even Enterprise, I was like, all right, I don't like it, but I'll watch it.
I gave up on Enterprise in like season 3, and then I came back at the end, and I really liked it, but I didn't feel like I missed anything.
Right.
And I was telling my kid that, and he goes, "Well, why don't you just don't watch Discovery?" And I think that's what's going to happen. I love Lower Decks. I love Lower Decks. I can take a 10-episode season of Picard, I guess, to see who shows up, but I don't need like 3 Star Trek shows to make fun of.
The key is, right, TNG. Everyone who loves TNG wishes they lived in TNG, right? so they're gonna have people watching Lower Decks and Picard because those are direct sequels to TNG. Right? Discovery has no attachment, emotionally, right? So like a huge Trekkie nerd is like, well, I was watching Discovery because it was set 10 years before Kirk. So I want to know what happens because I love the Kirk era. Now it's set 4,000 years later. I have no attachment whatsoever. That's what's happening in my head. Right? In my head, I'm like, well, I don't want to live 4,000 years in the future of that. Like, I want to live down here in TNG time. Okay.
I would love that show if they treated it like that 900 years was a thing, right?
I know, they really don't.
That would be my favorite show ever because they would have a struggle and a conflict to overcome, right? What's that show about? Nothing. I don't know. Now I want to write
and
that.
I will say Michelle Paradise. I will say Michelle Paradise is always, I don't know. I'm sure it's not her. It's her intern or whatever, right? She's always on Twitter being like, "Oh, new Discovery. It's so great." The comments, even among the Discovery like fanboys, are starting to turn where it's like, can we have a story that isn't the galaxy's about to explode? Like, and Michael Burnham's the only person who can save it. Like, even the fanboys are like, okay, we get it. This is season 4 of The Galaxy Sucks, and Michael Burnham needs to save it, right? Can you do like a different story now? So even that is a notable kind of thing to watch. And also, it never trends on Twitter. Never.
Can you imagine being Michelle Paradise though? So say magically, I install you as showrunner for Discovery, and you could make a perfect Star Trek show, and you would have to listen to people. Yeah, what about the last 4 years when it sucked? I would just be like such a thankless job.
I know, and I mean, I'm not saying anything about Michelle Paradise. I'm just noting that like even the fanboys are starting to be like, okay, we get it. Like, come up with a new idea.
We were saying that on episode 3 of season 1.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're like, okay, this is stupid. Next.
I'm glad they all caught up to us.
Well, remember, back then we were racist. So.
I know, of course. And Star Trek.
How can we be racist with a blue engineer? Come on.
I'm just mad. I'm just mad because Star Trek is being progressive and diverse now. And not like before when it was just
now they have people in wheelchairs, which is why we know it's progressive and diverse.
That's my big thing. I wish they would let the show just stand on its own. This whole
stop force feeding it. Stop like going
around like news cycle.
Anyway, I'm gonna say something I regret, so I'm just gonna cut it off there.
We started doing it by accident, right? The talking head thing where you talk over each other because you're trying to make your point. And, like,
I don't know what you're talking about. Blah, blah, blah.
It's just nonsense. We should stop and let the work just, speak for itself.
Well, did you know, guys? Did you know that Andorrans, part of your pink privilege, Andorrans can't go duck hunting on a sunny day? You know what I mean? Because we just camouflage right into a beautiful blue sky. So it's just one of the things that you take for granted.
Yep.
Is it a big problem with Andorrans that they want to go duck hunting and they just can't?
Not on a sunny day, like only on
the big ironies.
Past days. It's sad.
But really. Is the sky blue on Andor though? I don't think it is.
I feel bad for Andorians. I really do. You guys have such struggle. Struggle is real.
Oh, tell me about it, dude.
And on that note,
everybody knows. Everybody knows
impending end to the story.
Everybody knows that the Ferengi control the media, so like we never get a fair shake. That's for sure. Guys, wait a minute. Holy cow! Do you hear that sound? Wait a minute. Do you hear it?
We did hear it.
I do. Wait a minute. I heard it.
It's
there it is.
Dissolving out of the internet.
That sounds means Dantron has made another politically incorrect comment. It's time to end the show. And John is frozen, so this is perfect.
Oh, this is great. I love this.
This is fantastic. Larry, because like this underscores the problems with technology, right? And so I've got a little clip today that explains how I make everything go so super smooth technologically because I have the latest and greatest technology. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Why buy just a video game from Atari or Intellivision? Invest in the wonder computer of the 1980s for under $300, the Commodore VIC-20. Unlike games, it has a real computer keyboard. With the Commodore VIC-20, the whole family can learn computing at home. Plays great games, too. Under $300, the wonder computer of the 1980s, the Commodore VIC-20.
Coming soon, Commodore brings you Gorf, the wonder arcade game, and Omega Race in home versions. Commodore.